So if you're a founder, you know that your idea, it's everything, right? It's that initial spark. But here's the thing. An idea on its own is, well, it's pretty vulnerable. The real challenge is turning that spark into a fortress, a defensible asset for your business. Which brings us to the big question, the one every single innovator has to ask themselves. After you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into building something new, how do you stop someone else from just coming along and copying all your hard work? Okay, so we all get physical property, things you can see and touch, like a house or your land. Well, intellectual property, or IP, is basically the same principle of ownership, but for the intangible world of ideas. It's how you turn creations of the mind, like a patent or a copyright, into a real, legally protected asset, just like a piece of real estate. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by opening up the IP toolkit to see what's inside. Then we'll do a deep dive on the power of patents. After that, we'll talk about turning all this protection into actual profit. And finally, we'll look at how to steer clear of some, let's just say, very expensive mistakes. First things first. You've got to stop thinking of IP as just some boring legal paperwork. It's not. It is your strategic toolkit. And just like any toolkit, you need the right tool for the right job. You wouldn't use a hammer to saw wood, right? It's the same idea. So, let's open this thing up. Inside this toolkit, you'll find 4 essential tools. You've got patents, which protect how your invention works, trademarks for your brand identity, copyrights for all your creative and digital stuff, and industrial designs for a product's unique look. Picking the right one, or sometimes a mix of them, is absolutely crucial. Here's a quick breakdown for you. Patents protect your actual inventions. Trademarks are all about protecting your brand. Copyrights cover your creative work, like code. And designs protect the unique look of your product. Each one does a very different job and lasts for a different amount of time. First up, patents. This is for the functional heart of your idea. We're talking about a new machine, a brand new process, or a totally unique technical solution to a problem. A patent gives you a 20-year monopoly on that invention. Next, we have trademarks. Now, this isn't about what your product does, it's about who your product is. A trademark protects your logo, your company name, and all the customer trust you work so hard to build. It can even cover things like unique sounds or smells.
Copyright is just absolutely critical in our digital world. You know, we think of it for things like books and music, but for innovators, its real power is in protecting the things that drive a modern business. The software code you write, the unique UI of your app, even your website's layout.
And finally, there's industrial design protection. This is purely about the aesthetics, the unique look and feel of your product. It's not about how it works, but about that specific shape or pattern that makes your product instantly recognizable. Let's kick things off with copyright. For any modern startup, this one is huge. Here's why. It protects the expression of an idea, not the idea itself. What does that mean? Well, we're talking about your actual software code, the UI design of your app, the words on your website, even the music in your ad. And what's really wild is how long this protection lasts. I mean, we're not talking about a few years here. A copyright lasts for the creator's entire life, plus another 60 years on top of that. It's a genuine multi-generational asset. So, if copyright protects what you make, a trademark protects who you are. This is all about your brand identity, your name, your logo, that catchy slogan. It's what helps customers find you in a crowded market and, more importantly, trust you. And don't think trademarks are just about logos. They can be so much more creative. It could be a sound, you know, that iconic roar from the MGM Lion? That's trademarked. It can even be a smell. Seriously. In Japan, you can buy tires that have a trademarked rose scent. It just goes to show, any unique sensory thing that defines your brand could potentially be protected. Okay, time to bring out the heavy artillery, the real heavyweight in the IP world. We're talking about patents. This is the tool you use to protect the functional heart of your innovation. Now, this is a point that trips a lot of people up. A patent is what's known as a negative right, and it's super important to understand. A patent doesn't actually give you the right to make your thing. Instead, it gives you the legal power to stop everyone else from making, using, or selling it. And that power lasts for 20 years. It's a massive shield. In the real world, patents basically come in 2 main flavors. You've got design patents and utility patents. The difference is simple. A design patent protects how something looks. Think of the unique shape of a water bottle. A utility patent, on the other hand, protects how it works.
For that same bottle, it would be the vacuum insulation technology inside that keeps your drink hot. It's all about looks versus function.
All right, now take a look at this number, 90%. What in the world could that represent when we're talking about patents?
Well, it turns out that 90% of all patents are for small, incremental improvements on things that already exist. This is a game changer for startups. It means you don't need some single earth-shattering invention. You just need to consistently make your product a little bit better, a little bit faster, or a little more efficient, and then protect each of those small improvements along the way.
Okay, so we've figured out how to protect our ideas. Building the fortress is one thing, but that's only half the story. Now, let's shift gears and talk about how to turn that fortress into a financial asset.
It's a pretty clear three-step path. First, your IP gets listed right there on your balance sheet as a valuable asset. From there, that portfolio starts to actively create value, boosting your brand's worth. And finally, you can leverage that asset as collateral to attract investors or even secure loans.
And the financial impact here is significant. We're not talking small numbers. A strong IP portfolio can increase a startup's valuation by 30 to 50%, especially during a merger or an acquisition. It's a clear signal to everyone that your business has real defensible value.
And hey, this isn't just theory. Just look at Singapore. They've launched an innovative financing scheme where startups can literally take their patents to a bank and use them as collateral for a loan. They're treating intellectual property just like a building or a piece of heavy equipment. That's a total game changer.
Now for the scary part. We've talked about the good stuff. Let's flip the coin and talk about the kind of billion-dollar mistakes that can happen. Neglecting your IP strategy can have absolutely catastrophic consequences.
There are two huge landmines that can sink a startup before it even gets going. First up, public disclosure. You get excited, you share your idea at a hackathon or on social media before you've filed a patent, and you might have just forfeited your rights forever. Second big risk, co-founder disputes. If you don't have a crystal clear legal agreement from day one spelling out who owns the IP, you are just asking for a world of pain down the road.
And if you think I'm exaggerating the risk, just look at this number, $940 million.
That was the massive fine handed down to the IT giant TCS for copyright infringement. They were accused of stealing a competitor's software to build their own rival product. It is a brutal, expensive reminder of what happens when you don't respect IP rights.
And believe it or not, the stakes can get even higher. How about $1 billion?
Yep, that was the result of the legendary legal war between Apple and Samsung. And what was it all about? Design patents, the specific look and feel of their smartphones. This just proves that even aesthetic details can be incredibly valuable assets, worth fighting a billion-dollar war over.
So, the key takeaway here is this. Protecting your innovation isn't the legal chore you handle once and then forget about. It's an ongoing, central part of your business strategy. It's how you build value, create a competitive advantage, and ultimately secure your company's future.